He just sold their family house.
Are you prepared to sacrifice your house like I did? The family home was sold in order to have capital to start the business. That's now a risk taker.
And he wasn't even scared of losing it all.
But am I frightened? Hell no. Because I'm an entrepreneur.
He understood entrepreneurship never comes with a practical formula or guide. It needs experience, proven strategies, and lessons that you only get from venturing into the business ecosystem. What the young entrepreneurs today need is knowledge sharing, a skills transfer from a generation of field-tested experts to our generation of theory-fed and exam-tested newbies. My name is Marvelous Chaparadza. I represent Skylion Studios, Skylion's business podcast, Youth Envoy magazine, and Shingi Media. And together, we have been looking for a solution to this. That's why in our business podcast, we engage high-profile industry experts, discuss with them actionable principles that we can straight away apply after listening to this discussion. Today, we are discussing with one of Zimbabwe's first investment banker, Mr. Nigel M.K. Chanakira. Alright, so welcome to our podcast. It's a podcast brought to you by Skylion Studios, Skylion's business podcast, Youth Envoy magazine, Youth Envoy TV, Shingi Media, and with me today is Nigel M.K. Chanakira and Simbarashe Mkorera, who will introduce themselves shortly. Mr. Chanakira, over to you.
Okay, I'm Nigel Chanakira. I'm first and foremost a Christian, born-again Christian. Secondly, I'm a professional economist by training, an investment banker by profession, a businessman by choice, and a success facilitator and coach by passion. Married to one wife, 4 kids, 2 grandkids. Liverpool fan.
So thank you so much for joining us, our viewers. My name is Zimbabwean Entrepreneurs. I'm an entrepreneur in the field of technology, and for now I'm representing the Youth Envoy magazine, which brings about content that grows youth. So thank you.
Okay, so before we start, so would like to get a little background of what we're doing here. So there are a lot of problems that we are facing as youths. So there is high unemployment rates, and we are seeing that the youths are tending to take drugs or finding a way to escape reality. So those are the challenges that we want to solve. And for us to solve those challenges, we need to venture into entrepreneurship. So that's why we have Dr. Chanakira here, who is going to share the entrepreneurship strategies that worked well for him when he was growing his business. So, Mr. Nigel Chanakira, can you tell us who Mr. Nigel Chanakira is and the Zimbabwean business landscape?
Okay, so I think I cut my teeth really in the arena of business initially as a student. Yeah, so my very first business venture was with my best friend and a friend of his. And we launched an electronics company. They both had technical and engineering backgrounds. And that business failed spectacularly. I knew nothing about it. In essence, I just put my money. I was intrigued by the whole idea of being a businessman. Yeah. Then I went off to work after graduating and then started a second enterprise, which was essentially buying and selling furniture from an auction house. I would buy, repair, and return that furniture to the auction floor. I then moved into doing the same thing for motor vehicles. I'd buy, accident damaged vehicle, get it panel beaten by a Sekuru of mine who was a very good panel beater. And then I would sell the cars for a profit. And all these really were informal businesses. The third venture I would say I launched on was to be a lecturer and consultant in business using my economics degree and my studies of business. So I began to, lecture, run workshops, and then also do the marking of exams and the setting of exams.
Okay.
At Zizo House, which was the Zimbabwe Institute of Management in the main. And then I think really serious business now, after I had spent some 5 years or 6 years rather in the banking industry. Initially as a central banker, then I joined Bard Discount House for 5 years, became a director at age 24. And then at 28, I then launched Kingdom. And I think that's the one that's most known. Yes, Kingdom Securities, Kingdom Financial Holdings. And I was in that business for about 15 years, starting it from scratch with business partners, 4 of them. So the 5 of us started a banking group that ended up with 4 banks in sub-Saharan Africa and various other business interests. I then sold that banking franchise to Afro-Asia, essentially in 2013, and made a formal exit from banking. I had invested probably in about 40 businesses by then, of which my favorite was what I do now, which is coaching and mentoring people with banks in business, individuals. And I'm now represented in 8 countries, 6 on the African continent and then 2 in the United Kingdom and the United States. So I think I was born to an entrepreneurial family, and once an entrepreneur, always one, and I still am one.
All right.
So I think in a nutshell, that's me on the Zimbabwean landscape, in the region, and then globally as well.
Okay. So I heard you talked about a lot of businesses. You talked about Kingdom Bank, and from history, we know you were one of the first Zimbabwean investment bankers, the first black investment banker. So what are the challenges that you face along your way?
Well, I think initially, just a point of correction, I wasn't the first. I was amongst the first. I think what made it attractive was I was the youngest of all the bankers. So I was 28. My, competitors were much older than I was. And so a lot of people see me as the first because I was youthful and I guess very vibrant. I was on television. And also I wrote the back page of the Financial Gazette, which was the only financial newspaper at the time. And so I guess it's just a question of awareness. So yeah, that's kind of my history, going back in time. But I've been involved in quite a lot.
And that's a lot.
All right.
Challenges. Money.
Going for the biggest of all.
Yeah, I think it's a common African problem, to be honest. Marvelous. If we say start a bank, it's worse because you're supposed to have capital. And so the biggest challenge, I think, throughout that particular period was capital raising. And you'll find that even at Kingdom Financial Holdings, in its various shapes and forms, we were involved in a lot of fundraising efforts. So I would say throughout that was a common thread, capital. Now I tend to think differently. Money is the easier bit for somebody who is now long in the tooth like me. And it's more relationships and developing business, to other things. So looking for clients and prospects, I would imagine is now more my problem now. People who can afford the services that we offer.
Okay. So I've noticed you've ventured into a lot of businesses. Where do all those ideas come from? Where do valid business ideas come from?
Well, I think it comes from passion. You've got to be interested in things. And I'm a man of many interests and many relationships. And with that tends to come ideas. So some of the ideas have not been my original ideas. They've been people who have looked for partnerships, venture capital. And in so doing, it's given me a broad range of activities. I would say I've been involved, as I said, in over 40 businesses.
Okay.
I'm 59 now, so it's almost a business per year since I became an adult. Each year there's something cooking that is exciting. But I love that. I have diverse interests. I have many friends and relationships. And that's meant I've had broad range. And I think it's positioned me well. Now I can coach and mentor people. The only things I have not really done to a huge extent is to get involved in manufacturing, mining, but everything else, including agriculture.
Wow. That's brilliant.
So I think Mr. Subarasho, a question. I've been looking at your face. The question is really,
Yeah, quite a lot. I think I was looking at the portfolio. That's a UG's portfolio
Oh, yeah.
that you have, Mr. Chanakira. And I think when I look at the whole portfolio that you have, my question is, can you really say that you have a problem that you were targeting that eventually came out as a business idea? Because the notion around entrepreneurs of today is you gotta find a problem. You gotta find where the pain is for you to be able to get a business idea out of.
Well, I would imagine so, that yes, you're trying to solve a problem, because that always speaks to you having clients. You can offer a solution in one form or another, then your clientele is guaranteed. But one must also not run away from the fact that there's a money motive, a profit motive. So not only do I want to solve problems, because the world has lots of problems.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But I may not necessarily be interested in solving those particular problems because I don't think that is profitable. So I like businesses that are sustainable. I also like businesses that I enjoy. And so I want to solve problems in a way that thrills me. I don't get tired. My energy doesn't get sapped. And then I must make money. Lots of the aspects. And have fun. So I think that's my own philosophy. I like to say I operate maybe on 4 core principles. Number 1, I want to glorify God in what I do as a Christian. Number 2, I want to have fun. Life's too short, so it must be enjoyable. Number 3, I want to be of service. And service involves solving problems and, so be it. And I want to do it well as well. And then the 4th one and final philosophy, I want to make a lot of it and soon enough.
Okay. So we hear a lot of American advice that says, do or go into business ventures in the field where your passion is.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe suppose for most young entrepreneurs, maybe the field of passion that I'm in, there are limited opportunities or limited businesses that you can run in there. For example, let's say I'm a martial artist, for example.
Okay.
And in Zimbabwe, the sporting industry hasn't been doing so well. So if I try to do what I enjoy, do I not risk losing other opportunities in other fields?
Well, I would say to you, Marvelous, do what you enjoy and make a business out of it. So if martial arts, for example, are what really thrills you, then be the best in class. If you're going to train people in martial arts, if you're going to practice it as a sport, you can make a lot of money. The secret, I think, of business is finding your passion, and finding something you do extremely well.
Yes.
I mean, I looked the other day, somebody sent me a business manual of the type of businesses you could get involved in. And there were over 1,000 business ideas. Now, how do you choose one? I mean, making screws is a business. Do you know that? Yeah, so anything is a business. Now, the question is, do you love what you do? And do you do it well? Because if you love what you do, you'll never tire of it. Are we together? And then if you have to research that business, you can research it and again never tire because you are so excitable about it. But then you want to then launch and do it very well. Because if you do it very well, people come to you. Are we together?
Okay.
And I think that's a concept that's not understood by a lot of people. So yes, we copy and paste, we cut, copy, paste, because we don't originate ideas in the main. Now, if you are an originator, in other words, if your creative juices are strong in you, then all the better because you can be a pioneer in a field. Or you can also do a business, but do it differently. And so take banking. There were lots of banks when I started, but Kingdom did it differently. We were innovative, we were pioneering, we experimented, we have many firsts. We started in-store banking. We started a lot of, specialist trading activities. We were the first to do derivatives in this market. We introduced mobile banking. We were the first, contrary to what other people may think. We pioneered unit trusts or popularized them amongst Africans. The money and capital markets were unknown to Black people. But making money make sense explained the concepts. It wasn't that we were the first people to trade treasury bills or government stocks or shares, but we were the first ones to say Mari Airare, Maringaishand. So the creative juices inside of us led us to do banking differently in an innovative fashion. Similarly, the business that I'm in now, which is of interest to your audience, the youth, is one of mentorship and coaching. And we coach and mentor people differently because we do it online. We give you material online and you work in that particular space. And then we interact with you, in a meeting. That's, mentorship done differently. Are we together? Marvelous. So your capacity is not just, I think, originating things, but making them exciting, making them accessible, making it convenient for your clients, and enjoying yourselves through the process and having the systems. We operate on a platform. That makes it very different on a digital platform. Now, if you talked about coaching, you probably haven't heard of this type of coaching. So it's online. That's why now we are in 8 countries. Yet I'm operating out of Zimbabwe. Yeah, so we're doing it differently. So that becomes important. And so if we are true entrepreneurs, we make a way, we find a way, and we do it. It just should be done.
Okay. So as young entrepreneurs, when you are venturing into certain businesses, would want to know if this is going to work or if it's not going to work. So how do we know if our business ideas are going to work? How do we know if they are solid and valid?
Okay, so in my opinion, you really need some competencies yourself as an entrepreneur. So we call those personal entrepreneurial competencies. In other words, do you have what it takes to be an entrepreneur first and foremost? Because not everyone has it. Are we together? For example, are you a risk taker? Are you prepared to sacrifice your house like I did? The family home was sold in order to have capital to start the business. That's now a risk taker. And I married a risk taker as well, who allowed me to sell the home. Now, it's not often that your wife would agree to sell the family home, which you have paid for, and go back. You're living now on the other side of Samora Machel. And she says, let's go back to Highfields. Once we sold the home, and she has to share the kitchen with her monster-in-law. Sorry, I mean mother-in-law. Yeah. So it's all about what? The appetite to start a business.
This was just part 1 with Nigel, where we discussed how to find, test, and launch bulletproof business ideas in Zimbabwe. But wait, there's more. Next on episode 2, we'll discuss funding hacks, legal shortcuts, and marketing tricks that cost nothing. In episode 3, we'll discuss Nigel's $1 million scaling secrets plus an exclusive offer for you. Want the full masterclass? Don't miss the next episodes. Like, subscribe, and turn your notifications on. To sponsors, this is your shot to reach Zimbabwe's hungriest entrepreneurs. Contact us now before we're sold out.